What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Daily here from the Codec, and we are joined today by Yong Ya.
What's up, everybody? It's Yong here, and welcome to another episode of the Codec. We got some gaming topics for you today. No guest, but still a lot of fun things to talk about, so definitely stay tuned.
And Corrupt Ronin.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Corrupt Ronin here, and it's a pleasure to be back on this episode of the Codec once again. We had a great time last week with David Hayter. Once again, thank you for joining us on that episode, David. It was a good time, as well as all the fans that have come out to watch us, as well as supporting us. I'd like to give a quick shout out to all of my supporters, Patreons, the list goes on. You guys are what helps keeps my stream afloat, helps keeps this afloat. We definitely appreciate all support, and that we're happy to be here today for you guys.
Exactly. Sure. And this is episode 11 of the Codec. Just chugging along through the episodes already. But we, like Yong said, no guests today, but I do have some updates. We were supposed to have Robin Eck and Downs this weekend, but his flight was delayed leaving Jacksonville, so he's going to reschedule it for us. It might be in a week, like inside of a week, not like a week from now, but like it might be like a Wednesday or a Thursday stream. And we still do have Mark Meir next week, so we're excited about that.
Yes.
Yeah. You got to make that one. Can't miss Mark twice in a row. It's it just won't work, man. For our topics today, we've got a couple different ones. Let's start off with I guess the oldest one, and that's the Division. Division's been out for a little while now. You guys have both had a chance to play it. I've seen both of you guys play it. I've seen both of y'all's impressions on it. So let's talk a little bit about where you're at now. We'll start with you, Yong, since you kind of had the most, I don't want to say distaste towards, but you had the most skepticism. You just played the beta, said it was a little boring. Where are you at now? Are you still playing it? Do you still have the same opinions on it? How's it looking for you?
I haven't had time lately, but last thing I did was reach level 30, and then at that point you got to start collecting Phoenix points or whatever.
Right.
And it's basically very Destiny-esque. At that point, it's about getting the best of the best weapons, and you got to do these harder missions to get these points, or there's like a couple of various methods to do it. And I mean, I feel like at this point I've gotten to the point where I'd probably stop playing the game. There's just not much else to do, really. I mean, yeah, it's cool to get the Phoenix points and the awesome new weapons, but beyond that, like, I mean, you could go to the Dark Zone and troll people, kill them, and get all rogue and stuff. And that's actually really fun.
Get all rogue and stuff.
Get all rogue and stuff.
Yeah, the Dark Zone is definitely a compelling concept. I just wish there was more to do in it other than shooting spongy ass enemies. And but when you troll someone and it goes according to plan, it's a pretty great feeling. Like the guy on the other end probably, like, when it happens to you, it sucks. But you got to go into the Dark Zone knowing that can happen to you. But when you dish out the trolling, it's actually pretty interesting, pretty fun. I love the unpredictability of the Dark Zone. It's just like there's only so much that'll keep your attention, and it's gotten to the point, I think, where I'm starting to just kind of drift off away from the game and starting to play other ones out there. So hopefully they'll add more content to the Dark Zone, but
there is some content coming, and that's my next question for you. Is there is some content coming on April 12th. There's a new incursion, which is like a new mission, and
it's like a raid, basically.
Yeah, like a raid, like you would see in like Destiny or whatever. A lot of people do compare it to Destiny, but I've been comparing it a lot to Diablo with guns. That's what I've basically been telling everybody. It's Diablo with guns. Does the aspect of more PvE content, does that kind of spark your interest? Will you check that out, or are you just waiting for like more Dark Zone specific stuff? Because I think Game Informer or PC Gamer, one of the two, did a piece to show that there's actually another Dark Zone section coming.
Oh, great.
That will go further north into like the Central Park area. So is that what will bring you back to check it out, or are you interested in checking out some of this PvE content?
The PvE, like after you're done with it, I mean, I thought it was fun, actually, the PvE, especially when you partner up with people and it's like a super hard mission and like you barely manage to get through it, and it's just like, that's a great feeling. And the loot you get from like the higher difficulties, and stuff like that. So there are ways that the PvE keeps you going. But I mean, I've pretty much finished all the missions by now, and at this point, it's about like just replaying them at harder difficulties, just in hopes of getting a higher level or a high level weapon or armor or whatever. Yeah, if there is a new PvE mission that that's compelling and that is fun, then yeah, I'll go back to it. I'll play it. But then like after that, I'll probably head back to the Dark Zone, and if there's nothing to do there, then I get bored again, and it's just
gotcha.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. So not enough missions, I think, personally.
Right. Yeah, I felt like there could have been a little more. Granted, I did put 40 hours in the game before it was complete, like before I had all the story missions done and everything. I like that aspect of like when you're walking down the street, how you can like accidentally walk into like a big group of guys,
right?
And stuff like that. Like that kind of stuff was cool, but I do feel like there could have been some more missions. So this PvE content is definitely something I'm looking forward to. Yeah. And then I really want to know what's up with their DLC. They've got the 3 DLC plan pack that they've talked about.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to kind of know more about that. So I guess your final thing is you like it, but it's just not engaging enough to keep coming back, but it's not bad? Is that what I'm kind of getting from you?
Yeah, it's not a bad game, but once you finish it, there's really not much else to do after that. It doesn't keep you hooked like maybe some of the more popular MMORPGs might. At least for now, maybe they'll update it to the point where, there's just enough compelling content that will keep you coming back. But right now, it's kind of sparse. It's but the core mechanics are really fun. And just it's definitely one of the better games that Ubisoft has made in recent memory. So kudos. But it just needs more stuff to do other than sponge up enemies with bullets. Because that's pretty much all it feels like I've been doing after I reached level 30 and after I finished all the missions. But again, Dark Zone, I occasionally like to go back there and just see what I can do and experiment with the unpredictability of that zone. But other than that, it's just kind of been drifting away. But overall, fun game.
A good like Walking Dead without the zombies feel when you're in the Dark Zone.
Sure.
I like that aspect. All right, Ronan, how about you, man? I've seen you play it on stream. You played with your buddies. You played it by yourself. Where are you at now with the Division? Do you think it was as good as we thought it was going to be? Is it not? Where are you at on it?
In all honesty, I feel like it met expectations. My expectations, which were considerably low, dealing with Destiny and the way it disappointed so many people. So I had something to compare it to, but by default, it was going to pull ahead regardless. Looking at that. With that said, I will say the Division. It's a good game overall. It's not a great game. Mm-hmm. It's a good game to the point where it's average in a lot of aspects. And I got to level 30. I've done the Phoenix credits thing where you farm missions for Phoenix credits. The list goes on. I've done the Dark Zone with friends. I've trolled people to the point where I want to say in the beta, there was one thing that turned into this huge, elaborate troll that I was not expecting to happen, where we had 4 people with us, which is my squad. And then 2 of my other friends wanted to play, but you can only have 4 people on a squad. Yeah. So what we did was we found a way to get the 4 of us in there, and then bring the other 2 with us on top of that.
This is kind of like tag-alongs.
Basically, so like 6 people, and there was this one guy in the Dark Zone, and we all hid behind things as he went to go extract the stuff. And the minute the chopper came down, we just lit him up and took his shit. And he would come back for revenge every time. But the minute he saw us rolling 6 deep, he left and gave up. Yeah. So that was the end of that. But it was, things like that are kind of fun to do every now and then. And it's the Dark Zone's pretty cool in that aspect. But like Yong said, there's not a whole lot to do in it outside of that. And me and the crew that I've gone with in the Dark Zone, we've seen everything the Dark Zone has to offer. Every boss, every area. We've gone to all those places. And once you've done all of that, it's kind of like, okay, what's next? You have to wait for the new content to come out before you get anything else.
Right.
And
which is why I compare it to Diablo. Like Diablo, you just revisit the same stages over and over, and it's like a different boss, and he drops a different thing. That's why I've been comparing it to Diablo, whereas Destiny, it's kind of like, it's a little bigger, isn't it? Isn't Destiny got more kind of places to go?
Destiny is big in the aspect that each planet you go to has a sandbox-like area. But most of the time, if you're not pulling off side missions and stuff like that, there isn't much else to do outside of farming, motes of light, for example, which is the thing that's that happened with the Taken King update, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it's essentially the same thing in that aspect.
Okay.
To help you get better weapons. Although the Dark Zone is more of a case of, okay, you have a separate level that you level up, obviously, which is Dark Zone rank, and that is used to help you get better materials to make better weapons or buy better weapons on top of that. And I believe they said in the recent stream they had I want to say maybe about earlier in the week, that in the update they plan on changing how that works a little bit, where named enemies give you guaranteed high-end drops, which are kind of the highest level items you can get right now until the raid comes out, or the incursion as they're calling it, which gives you a completely different set of gear, which they're calling gear sets, and it's this like aqua color thing. Yeah, that's a whole new thing that's coming out with that as well. So I'm curious to try those out next week when the time comes, but as it stands currently, I've kind of drifted away from the game a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's unfortunate, but I knew it was going to happen because once you beat that game, which does not take very long if you're beelining through the main content.
Yeah.
Once you've done all that, there's not much else going on except the Dark Zone. If you don't care for that, then that's half the game that you're probably not going to experience at all. Yeah. So it's like I said, it's a good game. It's not a great game, but we'll see how things play out when it's updating it, changing mechanics, adding more content to it, which they plan on doing over a course, like you said, the DLC was like a 3-pack plan. And I'm sure they'll change the next season, Division Year 2, which I'm sure they'll do at some point, where they have extra content that comes out on top of that. So yeah, I enjoyed the game. It's better than Destiny, absolutely. But you know, it's
a good base. It's solid, solid base to build upon. 2 questions now for you, Ronan. One, do you think the incursion thing that's coming out on the 12th? Do you think that's enough? It just seems like they've only talked about one area. I figured they would have like maybe 3 or 4 at a time. Maybe Incursion Pack 1 has 2 or 3 different areas where you guys can visit. Will one more mission make really a difference?
In all honesty, I feel like they're making the same mistake that Destiny did when it first came out. And I know I keep comparing it to Destiny, but there's a lot of similar aspects in the way this game has launched compared to Destiny, where the full game was there. And they launched the raid, about a week or 2 afterwards. But it was just the raid itself. And this is kind of similar in that aspect where this incursion is coming out, but that's kind of the big thing that's coming with this update. And sure, you can beat it on different difficulty levels. You got hard mode, you have challenging, but that's kind of the thing at this point.
Yeah.
And when players have actually experienced all that has to offer, what do you have next?
I mean, what is that, like an hour worth of content?
I mean, yeah, depending on how good you are. Because they claim it's supposed to be the hardest thing in the game, but but it's like, okay, sure, we get it, but knowing most players, they'll probably clear that shit in like a day at best.
Yeah, there's speed runners on some of the hardest missions out there. People are like looking for a member speed run in the group, and I'm like, how do you speed run this? And I just wanted to check it out. They'll sprint past things. They go to those certain things where like once you kill everybody in the room, it spawns the next objective, and then they'll just leave and go straight there and do that one. So I think, I feel
like they're hanging a little too much confidence on the fact that this thing is going to be super difficult. But that's what Destiny said about half its raids as well. And lots of those people got through it in like an hour.
Really what they mean when they say super difficult is they mean this guy's going to have a lot of health.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's basically what they mean.
That's the thing with the Division. I feel like its core mechanics revolve around just sponging up enemies with bullets. There's not a lot of variety in terms of what you do in the world itself, in terms of the variety of missions. I mean, every mission is literally go from point A to point B, sponge some people up with bullets, go to point C, sponge people up, and it's just like that for the whole freaking game. Right. And there's just there's really no puzzle solving. I mean, they kind of try to do something where you pick up some stuff and you have to place it somewhere, like little stupid shit like that really don't add anything. It's just, and because the enemies are so spongy, what I do like about Destiny is that shooting feels like really satisfying. Like when you pull a headshot, because they're not spongy, you can run and gun, and it feels really nice when you like just destroy an army of people with some badass moves or whatever. Here you can't really do that. You just stay behind cover, shoot, go back to cover, reload, and it's just sort of a little more.
That is for the harder enemies, though. There are some enemies that I found that go down pretty. It's usually the guys in blue, I mean, it's
kind of a case of like, it depends on the type of weapons you have and the strength behind them as well. So if you're in a certain area where the enemies are pretty much around your level and you've geared up quite well enough to handle them, you could take them down pretty easily. Yeah. But like you said, the shooting doesn't do all that.
But I mean,
the shooting doesn't have that punch to it. And I understand that point of it.
Yeah, and like in the Dark Zone, all the enemies are pretty much slightly higher level than you. And, you know,
they're
like
all
I have
blues and yellows.
Yeah, I have a freaking sniper rifle, and I have to, you know, shoot the guy in the head like 4 times before he finally goes down. It's just not as satisfying as when you know, like in Destiny, you can, if you shoot him in the head with a sniper, they're guaranteed to be taken down, and that feels satisfying. So you don't get that with the Division, and all the missions revolve around just sponging up enemies, and there's unless the mission is within your level, you don't get to feel that excitement of the impact behind the shooting. But I wish there was just and the story isn't that good. Like it's average, whatever. I mean, it's there and it does its job, but it doesn't really keep you moving from, like, you don't play this game for the story. So it's all about just shooting and sponging up enemies with bullets, and that's a big problem that I had with the Division. There's just not much else to it other than that. There's you don't I mean, there are like the little story missions, I guess, the side missions. But you just go from point A to point B, you know, like decrypt some whatever, the echoes or whatever. Yeah. Hear like a little radio conversation or an echo.
It's one of those games you have to make yourself. Kind of like, it's not like Metal Gear where the story is like brought out to you and shown to you.
Right.
Some of the echoes and some of the things there are actually pretty cool, which is weird because some of them are really goofy and like out of place, and then you'll walk into one where it's like there's like a National Guard team who's like pinned down by Rikers, and they get kidnapped, and they're the ones you see later on in the main mission, and I'm like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's some really well presented stuff. I'll definitely give it
that. But then like you said, it's kind of like it's all hidden away, and you have to go look for it yourself.
Right.
That kind of like when you're in a game that's that big, like who wants to go to every one of those little pinpoints all over the map? Like,
exactly.
I mean, like there were a few like moments in the game where some of the intel, for example, if you kill the leader of the Rikers, in that case, you get to see the intel about what she did and who she is, and that gave me a reason to actually dislike the Rikers as a whole and their motives behind what they're doing. They didn't have enough of that stuff in the game to really keep me going.
Yeah,
it's disappointing. It's disappointing. It's just like the Battlefront. The cutscenes, the couple ones that they have, are so good, and you're like, yes, that's what I want. And then they're like, all right, that's over. We're not doing that. Like, get back to playing Walker Assault on our 4 maps. So yeah, I think the Division, like I said, it's a good base. I hope they build it up. Maybe the Division 2 or like Season Pass 2 kind of adds more to it, because they did leave the story open with the I don't want to call it a cliffhanger because I pretty much knew he was going to get away.
It's a cliffhanger, but still, you know, it's a cliffhanger.
But yeah, the rogue the rogue agent is still out, which that was an aspect I thought they failed to kind of really present on. It would have been cool to find some like alive first wave Division agents and kind of see what actually happened rather than just the 1 or 2 little bits of story you get from Aaron Keener, I believe is his name. But yeah, that's the Division, guys. We all like it, but we all think it's got more to like prove. It needs to do.
I mean, if anything, they've set up a good sort of foundation, and maybe like the Division 2 could be really good. I would look forward to the Division 2, and that's a good sign. You know?
Yeah,
exactly. They need more class-based stuff too. I feel. Did you guys feel like the classes didn't really kind of mean anything?
I feel like as you get into the more difficult stuff, especially further on in the Dark Zone, the class stuff definitely does come into play. Where you're going to want to have that guy that can soak up the bullets and be the tank, while you have the guy that's the tech guy, the healer and stuff like that. That plays a bit more.
I just haven't got there yet, I guess.
Yeah, and I bet it's going to play a lot more into it once you get into the new incursion that's coming out next week. So it's still too early to say that just yet, but we'll see how things go when all the actual tougher content comes out over the coming months.
And in terms of class, you can pretty much switch up your class at any moment. You just switch your abilities and your weapons, and you're like a different class. So you can play around with it. You can, when you team up with people, you can say, okay, you should equip this ability, I'll have this ability, and then you can coordinate that way. And I think that's really cool too, the flexibility of, it's not just you're the healer and that's it forever. You can be whoever you want, at any time, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess the only downside to that is how you spec your gear. How you can like change the stats. Well, I guess that actually opens up a cool, like you can collect different gear sets and put on your healer gear set or your,
that's where the incursion comes into play.
I think it's pretty cool. Okay. Well, see, the Division has a lot of good things like about it that just need to kind of be expanded upon. But it's time to switch it up. We talked about the Division a lot, so let's talk about Doom. Ronan, have you got to play the beta yet?
I have not. I've only got a chance to read and watch impressions of it, so I don't really have too much to say on it in that regard.
There is a public beta coming out pretty soon in the next day. Was it next week? Next Tuesday, I believe.
Okay, cool.
So that everybody can kind of try it out. But that's what I figured. I figured you didn't get to play because I didn't see you stream it. So y'all, that makes you our resident expert on Doom. I've watched some gameplay. I've seen some footage on it. Like I said at the end of the last Codec, it literally looks very Halo-y. Like the armor, the movements. I think maybe they have the same engine, or at least somewhere in the near vicinity of the same engine. It looks a lot like Halo. How does it play? Does it play like Halo? Does it play like its own game?
I would describe it more closely to Quake or Unreal Tournament. It definitely feels less Doom and more Unreal Tournament in terms of multiplayer, at least. It's in comparison to the original game, which I have played, it's slower. I wish it was faster paced. Like the walking speed is just, it feels sluggish when you compared to just how fast everything else is, like the shooting and the it just feels like the pacing could be a little faster to make it more Doom-esque. But the mechanics are very solid. I haven't played too much of Halo, so I don't know. I kind of don't remember much about how I can't compare those two because I haven't played that much of Halo. I forget kind of how it plays. But it's definitely very Unreal Tournament-esque, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I kind of like Unreal Tournament, the old.
I like it too. I like it too.
Yeah, but those shooters, popularity-wise, they're just not very popular anymore. You know, people play the Call of Duties and stuff these days. Like, like Unreal Tournament just isn't popular these days. And so will Doom bring that back somehow? I'm personally hoping for more than anything, like a really cool single player, like a badass, awesome single player.
Of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a good multiplayer would definitely help. But it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't quite feel like Doom. It feels like a good game, but it doesn't feel like the classic Doom with modern technology. It just feels like it's just really like Unreal Tournament with demons.
And which I saw there was some AI on there. There was player versus player with AI mixed in.
No, I believe it's just the.
I saw you got
beta.
killed by.
I'm sorry.
I saw you in your gameplay get killed by like a weird demon thing.
Yeah. So that's something that I actually don't like about the Doom, the closed beta, was that you can they at random points in the match. They randomly spawn this thing that I forget what it's called, but if you collect it, if you're the person to collect it, you turn into this demon thing. And you get to shoot shit around, and it's really overpowered though, and it just feels like it isn't earned. Really, it's just whoever gets it, whoever happens to be there at the right place at the right time will pretty much get it, and it just turns the tide way too much. Like, if you're winning, I mean, just that one douchebag collecting the thing and becoming the demon could turn the tide easily because it's so overpowered. So they have to either find a way to balance that out or maybe even exclude it altogether. Me personally wasn't a fan of it. I think it should all just be gunning and shooting and the skill sets behind that rather than this, what seems to be like a cheat to balance.
So you got a jail-free card.
Yeah, kind of like that. And it just spawns randomly, and it's just, if you're closest to it, then that's pretty much all there is to it. There isn't even like you have to fight for it. It's more of a, oh, you're there, good for you. Now go wreck.
I think one of our chatters actually just made a comment. It's kind of like Battlefront for the heroes, where it just spawns in one location at one time, and whoever's having to be camping there or running through that area kind of picks it up and gets it. Yeah. Which is, I guess, in my opinion, the only way to balance that is to maybe make it like a little King of the Hill objective, where you maybe got to stand in there for 10 seconds to become it, and then maybe helps out.
Either that or make that optional. Like when you go into the game settings for your multiplayer match, hopefully you can turn that off, because I personally hated it. I love being able to run and gun people, and then this fucking demon thing comes out of fucking nowhere and just trashes everything.
I love the part of the video where that happened to you. You were just like, oh man.
Yeah. At that point, you just have to run. Like, there's no point in fighting it. Because.
One last question for you on that topic. What did you think about the old school mechanics that they had? I saw there was like armor pickups and pickups in the map, which is not something that you see literally barely at all in modern games. There's literally no pickups anymore. And now you've got Doom in a modern setting with, the modernized weapons and the pacing and the kind of stuff that you talked about. And now you have pickups included. How did you like the pickup system?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, again, if you enjoy the classic style first-person shooters, then you'll love it. Like you said, it's just not something that's done a lot these days.
Does it still work? Does it still work in a setting like a modern FPS?
Yeah, I think it does, because in terms of the way the game is structured, it's still very much old school. It's now full 3D. It's got like
Codec.
Yeah, it's just visually, and then it feels very 3D, if that makes any sense. Like Doom, it feels kind of 2D-esque, 2.5D-esque. But it's just more about the feel, but in terms of the way just the game's laid out, it's very much old school. So it's just sort of it's just an old school game with modern like graphics and sort of feel, I guess. So yeah, it works because the maps are made to compensate for those things, and I liked it. I thought, it's just that's how old school shooters worked, and Doom's trying to bring that back. And so I guess it depends on your tastes, but I think people who play Doom will know what they're getting, which is a classic old school style shooter. And it's very much like Unreal, where stuff like that was relevant, stuff like pickups and armor, and so very Unreal-esque. And I mean, that's pretty much all I can say about it, because there really isn't much more to it than that.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I did like the Warpath game mode, which is basically control the zone, except the zone moves around the map. So you have to constantly move with the zone, and then enemies will try to take over it. And that was kind of cool, like an interesting twist. But then there was also, like classic team deathmatch. But again, I hated the demon rune thing. I think that ruined the whole experience. But so if they can take that away or make that optional, it's fun. So far, so it's nothing like mind-blowing. It's just something that's fun. I don't know if what they're doing here is enough to bring people back to the old school era. As of now, it doesn't feel that way. But who knows? We'll see. It depends on the content, I suppose. So that that's all I can say about that, really.
No problem. All right, Ronan, you and I and Yong, when Doom was kind of announced, we looked at the trailers, we talked about it. Now that you've seen some gameplay footage, which is what we kind of asked for around the trailer launch times, now that you've seen some and whatnot, where are you standing on Doom? Is it something that you're looking forward to? You don't look too excited about it right now. I don't know. It's hard to read you.
Fucking shit game. No, I'm kidding. I'm actually excited to try it out. From what I've seen of the footage, the impressions, I checked out Yong's video as well, which was great, by the way. I honestly, I'm excited for it. I think it's got potential to be a great game. Like, I want to see more of the single player stuff as well, which I'm sure we'll get at some point. The game is out next month, I believe, so it's pretty soon. I'm excited for it. I like the idea of going back to its roots of being, the old school shoot 'em up, 2D, 2.5D shoot 'em up that it was always known for. And Doom 3 got a lot of shit for not really sticking to those guns and trying to be the survival horror-esque kind of thing that people just really didn't like. And totally understandable. But I think it's a good idea for them to go back to doing it like this, because like Antonio said in the chat, a good game will always work if it's good. And if this idea is working, then it's good. And from what I've seen when playing a game like Wolfenstein, The New Order, for example, that game did not try to shy away from its roots of being a shoot 'em up. And it worked out really well for that game, on top of having a great story as well. that made that game like my surprise hit of 2014 at the time that it came out because of
with no multiplayer.
With no multiplayer at all. It was a good game all around. And if Doom can recapture that essence of what Doom was, then I can see this being a great game as well.
You know what? You bring up Wolfenstein, and I really hope, and I'm sure they will, I hope at some point while you're playing the new Doom, you can do like you did in Wolfenstein and find like the old Dooms in there and play like a level from
That'd
like
be a great throwback.
Doom. Yeah, I love that about Wolfenstein. Like I would play the game just so I could get to those points and check out like the levels and stuff. It was really cool to kind of go back and like play like an old school shooter like that. So that's Doom. Like Yong said, there's only the multiplayer out right now, so nobody really knows about the single player, which that's what kind of got Doom its start, is it's single player, all the hard levels and stuff, and then multiplayer was kind of modded in later on. I think you could still play old multiplayer Doom, which is
you can.
I think there's still people playing.
I just hope they make it feel like Doom and not like Unreal Tournament. That's my biggest concern right now. And
a lot of people are scared it's going to be like Halo.
Yeah, and I hope they focus on a good-ass single player. I hope that is sort of the main focus for me personally. I think if it has a great single player and a manageable multiplayer, I'll be fine. Because a lot of people loved just the single player of Doom. And a lot of people want to relive that. They don't just... Because a lot of games these days have been prioritizing multiplayer over anything else. And, it works for some games, but for others... Like, Battlefront definitely needed, like, a story. It's Star Wars. How do you not implement a story for... And Doom's a little different. It's more like, it's just sillier. It's not something you take as seriously, but still people have memories of
people want that.
And they want it.
As much shit as Doom 3 gets, I still liked it as a game. Like it wasn't the best, and it definitely had a ton of flaws. But playing the single player in Doom in that 3D environment, I thought that was really cool. With the kind of emphasis on horror aspect. But something that, like I said, is kind of weird to me is these Halo suits. I don't remember in any of the Dooms them looking like that. I thought it was just a regular soldier dude with a helmet. You know what I mean? Like, and now all of a sudden they've got like power armor. I don't know if that comes into play in the story somehow. And I seem to remember in Doom 3, you just had you had armor, but it was like plate armor. It wasn't like futuristic-y kind of stuff. Like, I remember you look at yourself...
Nameless Space Marine, basically.
Exactly. It was that. And that's... it always made me feel kind of vulnerable. I feel like if this Doom, I'm in a big, power suit, mech suit type thing, it might not be as, like, scary as playing the game. But I guess
they're trying to justify the fact that you're going to be fucking ripping out demon spines and arms and stuff like that in the game. They want you to feel like a hulking badass when you do it, which I guess I'm okay with, but I can understand the idea of, not perhaps wanting to feel a bit more vulnerable when you're doing it. And this doesn't seem to be that way. It kind of looks like the Master Chief from Halo, which I'm sorry to say. It does. It really does. And but we'll see where that goes. Hopefully it's just a thing that's for multiplayer only, but we'll see how that plays out.
I guess if they explain it in the story, maybe, I don't know, maybe like halfway through you get some armor like that, maybe that would be okay. I'm just, like I said, I'm just worried. Like, I hate games where I feel overpowered, and I just played a game recently and reviewed it called E.T. Armies, where you're basically invincible.
I heard about that.
It's so hard to die in that game. In my review, I was like doing my review, and I had to stop so I could, because I do all my reviews like on the fly. I don't write a script. So I stopped playing the game so I could talk about something that was happening, and I didn't die the whole time I was talking. Like, it was absolutely hilarious.
Rough.
So, that's Doom. Quick subject, Final Fantasy. They just released a statement a day or two ago saying, or maybe it was a week ago, somewhere in that time range, just recently, that one episode of this new Final Fantasy episodic thing will be as long as a Final Fantasy game in its entirety.
Oh, Final Fantasy VII Remake, you mean?
Yeah.
That's the episodic one, correct? You guys are the Final Fantasy people around here. And so I'd like your thoughts and opinions on that. We were scared during a couple episodes of the Codec a while ago where, is it going to be too short? Is it going to be, not what we want? Is it, what you guys want? I'll check it out for y'all's sake. But you guys...
There's a lot of things I want in this game, but I won't talk about that.
now that it's released and said that it will be just as long as a whole Final Fantasy game as one episode, does that give you guys any sort of comfort? Ronan, we'll start with you this time.
In a sense, yes, it does. But I was hearing things coming out of this talk about things of it being close to 30 hours and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's pretty sure a lot of Final Fantasy games are usually longer than that in some aspects. So I'm not too excited about that. But I mean, it almost sounds like they're going the Final Fantasy 13 route, where you had Final Fantasy 13, you had Final Fantasy 13-2, and you had 13-3 or Lightning Returns.
Such an ugly way to release.
I know, and it's not the first time they've done that. You had Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X-2 that came out years ago, so they're not adverse to doing things like this. To put it out there. So I wasn't too pleased to hear that, but as long as it's not a fucking linear hallway simulator where the game opens up at the end, I'm totally in for this. I can totally get behind this. I'm curious about it, but I will have this small ounce of skepticism about what they're doing with this game.
Gotcha. When we had Reno Wilson on the show, he's Sass from Final Fantasy 13. I did some research on it, and now I understand why you guys were upset with it. Like, it doesn't look like any other Final Fantasy game that I've ever seen. And I've seen them all. I just haven't played them physically myself, but I've seen them all. My friends love Final Fantasy growing up. The only Final Fantasy, like I've said before, that I've played is Tactics, which is like completely a whole different thing. So, but when I went back and looked at it, I noticed, I was like, wow, this is different. I don't know, I don't know exactly what I'm looking at here. It's not those big sprawling areas that you can kind of run around and run. And I've seen.
With Final Fantasy, you want an open world. Like, Final Fantasy is actually quite linear when you think about it. It's not like Elder Scrolls where you can go to the other end of the map and, do whatever the fuck you want. No, there is a certain structure to it, but it feels, there's an illusion of freedom because the areas are so open and you can talk to all these people. There's cities inside, vast scapes of land and
good
stuff
hub
like
areas.
That. It adds to the immersion, and that's what Final Fantasy is all about. And 13 just went to hallways and shit for whatever reason. And 15 seems to be bringing that back big time. I mean, that world looks huge. It looks beautiful and amazing.
That's the one that they've shown recently where like the people are driving in a car.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, I seen that. I seen some gameplay from that. Looks good. Now, what about you, Yong? We talked to Ronan about the length, and now I want to hear your opinion. Will a longer, quote unquote, episode make you feel better about them releasing it episodically?
I've never been a fan of episodic structures, to be honest. Well, I guess it depends. Like, if it's a story-heavy driven game like the Wolf Among Us and Telltale games like The Walking Dead and stuff like that, those do kind of lend themselves to an episodic nature because the story is sort of, it comes first, and then I believe the pricing split up in an appropriate way. It's not like each part is like $60. It's like each part is cheaper, and then it adds to so with the bigger scales of each game, I'm getting the feeling that each game will be $60.
Oh man,
each episode will be
tough.
$60. That's the feeling that I'm getting from that, and I'm not a fan of that. I mean, it's great that we're gonna get like a ton of content with each episode, but I've always enjoyed Final Fantasy as one cohesive, big ass adventure, not something that's split into chunks. So I'm still not a fan of it, but it's certainly, I guess, nice to hear, as long as each chunk, as long as each chunk is good. And I am a little concerned that it might sort of spread itself too thin with this structure. If each game's like massive, and then you have to like pay $60 for each, and then the story just drags on. Like, I don't know.
You're talking upwards of $200 if.
Yeah, exactly.
Were they three parts, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like if it's 60 each, that's $180 right there, for what should be one cohesive experience, one game, which is what Final Fantasy VII was. But, I mean, if they managed to add enough story content, which they did promise, they said there were a lot of story things that we weren't able to add in the original game that we can add now. If they can add enough of those nuances to make each chunk feel like its own maybe self-contained arc, then maybe this will work. But I feel like Final Fantasy VII is just one giant arc, one giant adventure, one giant fantasy, so to speak.
Okay.
Not a fan, never will be a fan of that structure, but making each game bigger is better than nothing, I guess.
Right.
I think Hitman's running into that same problem right now.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen literally anybody talking or playing it. Like, there's no coverage. Exactly. I think. I'm
pretty sure I've seen like 2 people in my chat talk about it when it came out, and then they stopped talking about it completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna take 1 second pause here and switch out my battery. My battery in my headset's dying. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Go for it.
But I mean, a lot of people might be waiting for all the episodes of Hitman to release, because again, like, there are certain games that lend themselves to episodic nature, but Hitman isn't one of those games. You want a full assassination adventure with Hitman.
And I like that assassination adventure.
Yeah, I mean, that's what
kind of
people love about Hitman. That the fact that you got this whole world in which you go around killing people rather than this episodic bullshit. That's just not the kind of game that Hitman is. And so, and I also believe Final Fantasy VII isn't that kind of game either, where you can split it up episodically. But we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, that's where we're sitting at with our games nowadays. Everything is kind of broken up and
piecemeal.
I mean, a game like The Division even does this in a slightly sneakier way, where we've got the full game now, but now they're going to add pieces to it later on for free, which I'm never opposed to free content, but, if we just have to wait another month or another 2 months for that game to have all this stuff included, that would expand its lifetime. Like, people are already done with it, and it came out last month. Like, people are and when I say done with it, I don't mean just beat the story, but I mean they've beat the story, they've got super high level gear, and they're just basically done. Like, I played, I'm level 30, and I'm level like 30 something in the Dark Zone, and I ran up against the guy who literally, I was shooting my entire machine gun 100 whatever round magazine into him, and he didn't even lose that first bar of his health. And then he turned around and killed me in like 2 hits. And he's like, really, man? And I'm like, that is just like, people have played it and now they're just done. They're at the top. What do you do for the next, Fortunately, now it's only a couple days, but you run into that problem with Final Fantasy or Hitman, where you're just done, and now you've got to wait all of this time for the next the next part. It's just lame.
Especially for those of the people out there that know how the story goes, for lack of a better way to express it, and you're sitting there and you finish off that first, I guess you can call it a chapter in the saga, and you know what's going to happen next generally, but you want to see how they interpreted it this time for this remake, and you're stuck waiting for that next entry to come out, and that can be tough for a lot of people to go through.
Yeah. Okay. Isn't Hitman Square Enix?
Yeah, Square Enix. Well, the developers are the IDOS section of Square Enix, but
the publisher is Square, right?
Basically.
Yeah. What is up with Square and episodic these days? I mean, Final Fantasy VII, Hitman. I don't know. There's
a good YouTube video from a YouTuber called Jim Sterling. We've talked about him a couple times on the show, and he actually addressed this and said he had an inside source that worked at Square Enix, and they told him that last year or the year before, when they were planning the production of all of these games, they didn't think people would buy full games anymore. They thought people wanted cheaper episodic games, so they designed all of these future releases to be like that. The video is like.
Were they judging this based off of the fact that people bought a lot of Life is Strange? Because that just
I think so. Is my question.
Something.
He explains a lot better than I can, because I haven't seen the video in a month or two. But I would suggest if you guys wanted to kind of do some research on that or figure that out. I know you guys love those franchises, and I love Hitman. We had him on here for an interview. He was absolutely a cool dude. But he goes into depth on why Square Enix has done this, and now how they might be kind of regretting it, because they're catching a lot of flack from a lot of different news places. The next 2 topics we're going to talk about quickly, because we're running out of time here, and we still have our cool music game to play, which returning fans of the show will know. I had Corrupt Ronan a couple episodes ago listen to some music, identify the music, and for everyone he got right, we gave out a subscriber code. We'll do the same thing, 5 for Ronan, 5 for Yong, and we'll give out some more subscriber codes for all of our loyal viewers and watchers. You guys deserve it, and the game is fun. I got a lot of good responses from it. I talked to one of our longtime viewers, V Prime here. Me and him went to a convention together last weekend where we met Robinac and Downs, and he was like, "You guys got to do the sound thing again." Everybody in the chat loved it, so we will. The next two quick topics. One is the PlayStation Remote, which just kind of crept its way.
I don't know anything about that.
Remote?
Yeah, I'm going to explain to you guys. It crept its way into our lives just recently, and it's funny that you guys don't know about it because that's the thing. It's a cool feature for PlayStation that they didn't really talk about and nobody kind of really understands or has heard about. So basically, with the newest 3.5 software update.
Oh, okay. You mean
PS4,
remote play? Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I know what you're talking about.
It's called PS Remote. I don't know why they call it that because it's not a real remote.
It's remote play.
Remote?
Like
it's called remote
yeah.
play, but when you look it up, it's just called PS Remote. Like that's the. I don't know why. I don't know why they have two brandings.
Yeah.
Like when you download the thing, it just says PS Remote on your computer. I don't know. In any case, so basically you can log into your PlayStation's, I guess, network from the internet from your computer and kind of stream it to your computer, and you can play from from there. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this is because there's already some things like this going on with like Steam Link and things like that. Do you guys think that features like this are necessary? Like I played it for like 5 or 10 minutes to check it out on Broforce, by the way, which is a really cool game. I never played it.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
Fucking love that game.
I've never seen anything like it. Reminded me of like Metal Slug if it got really drunk and had a party with an American flag. Like that's the best way I can describe Broforce. But so it was an okay experience for me. It made a little bit of sense in the fact that maybe you don't want to be out where your PlayStation is, but the question for you guys is, does it work the opposite way? Obviously, if you're on a computer, you want to stream your stuff to your big screen, your couch, wherever, because you don't have your rig set up with your keyboard and monitor and mouse on a couch. But why would you want to take your couch playing experience into like a desk where like I just hit my elbow on my desk? I could have lost. You
really meant the desk, huh?
I could have lost a game of Pez because I just hit my elbow on the desk. Do you think it's necessary to go this way with the technology where you can stream at your computer or workstation, I guess, as opposed to taking that experience out of this room? Like, how do you guys feel about that?
I feel like the technology is still very much in sort of beta, where it works and it's fine, but when it comes to precision games like first-person shooters and whatnot, it's just not that good because there's just frame rate dips. That sometimes it'll get a little jaggy. The resolution is limited. And so there's a lot of limitations still. So I feel like it's just something that's still in beta, but cloud gaming is definitely something that is becoming relevant with faster internet connection, and it'll eventually get to the point where we'll have fast enough internet that we don't really even have to buy like a rig. We can just stream it from the company's servers who have the setup necessary. We are just playing it off the internet. It's like watching a YouTube video, except like playing a game instead. Okay. Right. So it's sort of that kind of service that's sort of the future. And right now, I think they're exploring.
It's a cool idea.
Yeah, they're exploring different avenues with it. And it's not something that I use personally because it's just a diminished experience versus what you would get if you were actually just playing the game on the original device. But it's different from if, say, they managed to make it so that you can play it with a portable device, like away from home.
Right, that's
like,
what I thought would be
the
cool.
NVIDIA Shield kind of does it, but you have to be in your home, I believe, right? You can't like take that.
It's like there's limited range.
Right,
it's got to be on the same network as whatever your machine is.
So I think there's a lot of potential there if they make a portable device that can efficiently stream games. But in terms of streaming it to my PC, I personally, for me, there's no point. Other people may have uses for it for whatever reason. Just for me, it's just what's the point until it gets to that point where it where it's 1080p, 60 FPS, no frame rate stutters, no input lag and stuff like that. So that's my
that was a big problem that I saw was it put lag from I would press a button and it would take a couple milliseconds, just enough to notice that it was taking a little bit. I think, Young, to your point, I love that idea of streaming games. I think there's actually one service right now that actually does that wholeheartedly, and that's God damn EA. They have an Origins section where you can, and it's only with like 2 or 3 games, but you can play like Crysis 2 without having to install it.
I think they got rid of that because the company that did it was bought out by Sony.
Oh, right, and they're doing PlayStation Now? PlayStation Now. So PlayStation actually does it.
Okay, so PlayStation has that technology.
The games are all like old games. They're not really anything, right? I mean, and they're like PlayStation 1 games all the way to...
They go up to PlayStation 3. I've actually tried it, I want to say last year. Yeah, and I played I played perhaps the most precision game that I could think of that was on it, which was Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2.
Oh, God.
Awesome. And it works, but I can definitely feel the latency when it comes to that kind of thing.
Right. So like a last-minute block just won't work because you know, there's like a slight input lag and you get fucked. So
I like that. I like when things I don't know kind of like circle back because I didn't know that company had been bought out, and it's cool to see that they've been bought out and now they're doing their thing with Sony. Because I like that idea of not having to download a game because there's some games I just kind of want to try, but I don't want to pay for it, download it, and then go through the Steam refund process. But Ronan, your opinions on PlayStation Remote Play?
Yeah, I mean, like Yang said, it comes down to the person that might need or might have a need for this kind of thing. I, for one, am not one of those people because I have my setup like all around me, so I can play my games on my computers, my TV. Doesn't matter. I have it all here right in front of me, right? So I don't really have a need for that. Plus, I don't do a lot of traveling, at least not yet, so I don't really have too much of a purpose for this kind of thing. But I mean, I've tried out things like PlayStation Now, like I just mentioned, and a little bit of Frag Nation history for some of you guys. The Frag Nation was partnered or did a partnered competition with a company called OnLive, which is a cloud gaming corporation before it was shut down about a year ago.
Yep.
And that's actually where I first heard about Frag Nation, in fact.
Our good OnLive tournaments, man. I remember those.
Yeah, so that was the thing that existed, and it worked, but not a lot of people caught on to it, so it kind of shut down because of that. But like Young said, cloud gaming, it's proven that it works, but the uses for it and the input latency and things like that still need to be worked out before it becomes a more practical thing for people to use. Yeah. In a case like remote play, I think it's great. I've tried that. I've tried share play as well with a friend of mine as well. It all works, but it just comes down to network connections and reliability.
Is that where you can let people play your games?
Yes, for a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can either let them play your games, or you can do there's a lot of split screen games that are coming out, split screen indie games, and you can use share play to actually get a second person in the split screen to play that for a certain amount of time. Cool. So I've done things like that as well. But yeah, it all works. It's just a matter of improving the technology. Because right now I think remote play is limited to 720p.
Yeah.
So it's just for Netflix and chill.
Basically. if you want to be real talk for a second, let's talk about that. But no.
Yeah.
It's got its uses, but like for some people that have all their setups right there in front of them that don't really do a lot of traveling or need to have that stuff on the fly in different rooms of the house or whatever, not a whole lot of uses.
Yeah. I just thought it was, like I said, for it to go to a PC, that's what didn't kind of make the most sense to me. Like if they did something where like the smart TV technology where you could like send it to another smart TV in your house, and then, I think a lot of the smart TVs have USB hookups. You just hook up a controller right there, or even if it's not far enough away from the console, you could play it like through a TV. But to send it to your computer where 99% of computer setups are confined. I mean, you're at a desk, your computer's right here, you can't really do much. That just to me didn't seem like 100% thought out. But I think, like you said, you got to keep in mind that the PlayStation is used for a lot more than just playing games. You got the new TV app thing that they're doing. You've got the different,
which is weird because it's like, okay, you have all this stuff on your PlayStation, but if you have your PC right in front of you, you can just load that stuff up right there and do the same damn thing.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I didn't get that.
The biggest use that I can think of is, if you want to play PlayStation 4, but your mom or dad are using up the TV, you can't play it on the big TV, so you got to take it somewhere else. You play it on your PC, you stream it. Problem solved. That's about the only use that I can think of. And You know, you asked if this feature was necessary. I don't think anybody thinks it's necessary, but it's a cool feature to have.
Yeah.
You know, like it isn't shoved down your throat. It's just kind of there. If you want to use it, it's cool to have it.
Which might have been why they never really talked about it that much and just kind of sprung it up on us at the last second, you know?
Yeah, it's just something cool to have.
Yeah, I didn't see it hyped very much. Which this is why I love my Wii, because I can just plug my Wii in anywhere. I don't have to bring an HDMI cable. I don't have to bring that weird bar if I don't want to play a game that requires that. And I can just turn on my Wii U gamepad and play like Mario. Like, anytime I have company and they want to watch like football games or boxing or whatever they want to do, I'm like, let me grab my Wii U, man, because I'm gonna play Mario while y'all do this lame stuff. So that's the PS Remote Play. The last topic before we get out of here was Dark Souls, and basically this topic isn't necessarily about the game, because I don't know if either of you guys have played it yet, but they released it in Japan like a week ago. They released it to reviewers like 5 days ago, maybe even more, and people have been playing it through, like, you can buy it. There's some way you can buy it and play it right now on your PlayStation or your Xbox One or whatever system it is. I don't know which one has the workaround, but there's a workaround out there where you can play it right now. And I don't understand why it's just not out everywhere. It seems like it's losing a lot of its momentum because people are talking about it, but nobody's looking at it because they don't want to be spoiled. And then when the people that go in to finally play it, they're going to be way behind all the people that are playing now. What are your guys' opinion on this weird launch cycle for Dark Souls? And do you think it should have a global release date? Y'all, go ahead.
I mean, who knows why companies do that? I mean, it could be related to distribution, maybe. The distribution of the actual physical copies, and they want everyone to have that opportunity and not just the people who want to download the game digitally. Just maybe it's little stuff like that, but I don't think the game will like lose hype over that per se. I think if people were already set on buying Dark Souls 3, which a lot of people were, I think it's they'll wait a little more if they have to, and I think it'll do just fine, especially because the critical reception has been really positive for the game.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty good.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I don't know exactly why they would do that. I think it does have to do with distribution, but it could be a marketing thing. It could be, there's a number of reasons, and I don't work for game companies, so I wouldn't know. But it is what it is. I mean, yeah, it kind of sucks, because so many people want to play it right now, and they could technically if they maybe just released it for the PlayStation Network and just allowed us to download it while the. But that would be unfair to the people who maybe have to wait for the physical copies, and they don't want to be unfair to, they don't want to like segregate one customer base. Like if you like physical copies, then you are at a disadvantage. I don't think they want to do that, so they want to keep it fair and then make sure everything lines up. That's what I'm thinking, but who knows really.
Do you think that companies should start implementing more global release dates where it releases at the same time for everybody?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of companies are trying to do that. Like a lot of the games, the AAA games lately, I think most of them, or a lot of them, have released like worldwide. Like Metal Gear Solid 5, for example, was a worldwide release, which was nice. And but I don't know. It also depends on what games are popular in what region. And
that's true.
They'll have certain leeways there based on, if there's a lot of demand for a certain region, then they'll maybe release it there at the same time as like America or whatever, or vice versa. So it's just a lot of factors, really.
Exactly. I mean, and that makes sense. I just think from like I can't be the only one who feels this way, but I've already seen enough Dark Souls stuff now on YouTube that I don't have any desire to play it. Like, I already know what the first, second, and third boss look like and how to beat them, and I already know a lot of, like, people are making, like, story breakdowns, and, like, now I just, like, I don't need to play it because I'm not a good Dark Souls player, so I'm not going to put myself through the pain of that. Ridiculous. I think I played about 30 minutes of Bloodborne before I was like, all right, I can't do it.
Well, I mean, my solution would be, just don't watch the videos. I've avoided all Dark Souls 3 content.
Pretty much, same here.
I don't want to, and frankly, like Dark Souls 3, there's some cool lore stuff, but I feel like a lot of people come to it for that gameplay, that visceral gameplay, and the lore is like the cherry on top, you know.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. I don't feel like there's like Metal Gear level spoilers in Dark Souls. I could be wrong though.
I mean, that makes sense. That makes
I don't think
sense.
the character turns out to be like a double of the actual protagonist or whatever. You know, Punished, Venom, whatever you
Dark
call
Soul.
the protagonist.
Warrior.
Yeah, sure. So I think it's okay for Dark Souls. I think with Metal Gear it was important they release it worldwide because of the big like plot twist. Like if they released it in Japan first, then everyone would get wind of the plot twist, and then you know what's the point at that point. But with Dark Souls, I think there's a little more leeway in that respect because it's more about the gameplay.
Okay. Ronan, what about you? How do you feel about companies doing these staggered releases and allowing some people to get it early and reviewers to get it way early? Like, I'm all for review copies. I'm a reviewer myself. But there wasn't even like an NDA. Like, normally, if you're a reviewer, you would probably be allowed to post your review now, like a couple days, because I think it comes out the 12th, right?
It does, and there's some reviewers out there like GameSpot, for example, that are putting out their reviews now. Like I know the GameSpot review is already up. They gave it an 8 out of 10, I believe, when it came out, when they put that review up. But I don't know. It's a case of like when you look down, when you come down to it, Namco Bandai is a Japanese company at the end of the day, and at the end of the day, they're gonna try to placate to the crowd that they're based in, and that's Japan. So I'm totally behind the idea of globally releasing a game simultaneously, like Final Fantasy 15, for example, is doing that on September 30th. So I would like to see more of that, and I can totally get behind more of that. But I also see why they kind of did in some aspect about why this is a staggered release. But I think the way this whole thing was handled was really weird because when it happened,
bullshit.
Yeah, when it happened, people also discovered that hey, you can also get the English version by making a Japanese account on the Xbox Live Store and then changing your region back over to America and get the English version that way. So the English version was done way ahead of time. People were getting it ahead of time. And when a lot of people reached out to Namco Bandai about it, they were like, "Oh yeah, I'm sure they can do that. No problem. We're not going to ban people for it. No big deal." So
that's what's funny is that I'm so glad you brought that up because they said that it wasn't out yet for the Americas because it wasn't done.
Right.
Like they said something wasn't finished.
And I think they were talking about the patch because I will say there were a lot of people having technical issues with that game when they did that. The PC version ran like garbage.
Like localization and stuff.
Yeah, it might have been a case of that, but for the most part, that game is done on all fronts. It's done on all fronts. So it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Gray instead of black.
Right, but I don't know. It probably does come down to a case of like Young said, where you want to get the physical copies out at the same time or have people get a chance to get those and not screw them over for those who buy those copies of games. But it's really weird. And there was a time I think I saw on Twitter from a few popular streamers on like Twitch, for example, that actually have copies of the game and play the Japanese version as well, where they got like cease and desist from Namco Bandai saying, "Hey, don't play this, don't stream this, because of spoilers." But there are whole fucking playthroughs on YouTube of the entire game. There's no cease and desist for that. So I don't know. The whole thing was handled very strangely. And hopefully stuff like this doesn't continue to happen in the future. The game's out next week. If you can hold off spoilers until then, please do.
Yeah. My tip to them would be manage your distribution better if it really is about distribution. Because, it is kind of unfair for some people. But, I don't know. It is what it is. I think a lot of people are going to get the game anyway.
Right. Regardless.
Yeah, I think so. Well, that wraps up all of the major topics for today. It's time to play our game. And Ronan, I think you were going to be up first.
Oh, great. Failure is incoming.
I sent a link in the Skype chat. Yong, if you want to listen in, you can. So basically what we'll do is Ronan's going to queue up this list. I'm going to say play the song.
Give me permission to see it.
It says accessible to everybody. Anyway, while I fix this, basically, Ronan will play the song. He'll listen to it. He can skip ahead, go back. He'll listen to the song, name the song. If he gets it right, that's a code. If he gets it wrong, we go to the next one. Like I said, you can listen along if you when I get the link that's actually shareable. you can listen along just by clicking on the stuff. I'll just share it to your emails so that you guys have access. There we go. Yes, I'm sure. And then we'll copy the link.
Are the people in the live stream going to be able to hear the music?
Yeah. Yes, I'm going to play it as well, so they'll hear it through my headset.
Okay.
All right, I got it here.
Is
Not
that
gonna
how it
play it
works?
yet. I'm gonna play it.
Okay, yeah, don't play it yet. And Ronan, I know you're our chat guy, so you get out of the chat. You
I
close
know.
the chat.
I'm closing the chat right now. Don't worry. I'm closing it.
You close the chat. You stay away from there because they'll spoil it. They'll tell you.
Yeah, they will.
All right. So yes. All right. So this one's yours. So are you ready, Ronan?
Make sure I got it. Okay. The first one, right? Yeah. All right. I'm gonna.
The first one is one. All right. Yong, did you get a link?
Yes,
you
I
able
did.
To? Okay, perfect. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and start it. Ronan, you can play yours now.
Okay. Doom.
It is Doom.
Okay.
Damn.
Got that. Like I said, they start off easy. All right.
Yeah.
So that's one so far. All right, we're going to move on to song number 2. Ronan, you can play it now.
Okay. Metal Slug.
How did you get that?
Damn,
Wow,
these are like
yeah.
classics. God.
it is Metal Slug. All right.
Oh, I'm going to suck this game, I'm telling you right now.
It's varied. Okay, so game number 3. Go ahead. We're playing the audio now.
That's where I'm gonna fuck up. Watch.
Ah.
I have to skip through this one a little bit.
Yep. It's a longer one. We're skipping around too, just so that people can hear.
Oh, Mass Effect.
Yeah, this one's a no-brainer. Yeah.
Yeah,
It is,
Mass Effect.
It is Mass Effect.
Okay.
All right, so you're 3 for 3, man. It's pretty good so far.
I had to get like past that slow burn intro for a second. I'm like, this
Right.
sounds familiar, but I'm not quite sure.
I had to check on the chat just because, since you're not right now, I wanted
Yeah.
to check in. Because somebody said one of the last ones was Batman. What Batman are you guys watching?
Well, where he
Okay.
busts out guns and starts shooting down tanks. That's the one.
All right.
Batman v
number-
Superman. That one.
That's the one. That's the one.
All right. Moving on. Number 4.
I don't even know.
Player.
Okay. Wow, that is classic as fuck. Tetris?
It is Tetris.
What the fuck?
4 Good
Holy
job,
crap.
man. Killing him. All right.
Jesus.
That was classic
So-
as shit.
Our last chance to stump you. Granted, I don't like stumping you because then that's like one less code we get to give away, and I love hooking up.
Oh,
hooking
yeah,
up
okay,
our-
so it's about the codes. It's not about me making me feel bad about not knowing the...
No, it's not about making you feel bad. We like giving back to our community, but I mean, it's funny.
See what I
one's
put
up.
myself through for you guys? This is for you. I torture myself for you guys, okay?
Right.
So don't say I
Right.
don't love you.
What'd you say about the last one, Young?
Oh, come on. I mean, really? That's the last one? It's so easy. Anyway.
All right.
I'll probably get this one wrong. Knowing me.
Number
No, you
5.
won't. Trust me, you won't.
I'm gonna laugh if he does. He did get. I'll accept after. Go ahead and play it.
He's rocking out. Okay. Getting in the vibe.
This is
getting
like
in the zone.
good to skip.
I mean, yeah, because it's the Legend of Zelda. I get it.
It is the Legend of Zelda.
I mean, I just want to listen to the intro at least. Come
Right,
on.
it's good. It's so good. I think last time it was because I put some like different just like eras of the game. So like
Right.
in 64, Nintendo, the regular Nintendo, the Xbox versions, whatever. I think the one you missed last time wasn't it Star Fox? I think you said it. I think you thought it was Zelda.
I thought it was because the intro sounded very similar
They're
to when you
so
played the N64 versions. Yeah, it sounds very similar to that. And I messed that one up, but you gave me a chance to redeem myself for that one, and I did. But the one that I wholeheartedly didn't know was the Battlefield 1942 one you posted.
Yes, was Battlefield 1942. That was.
Yeah.
I love that one too, man. That was such a good one. Did you know it after I told you what it was? Like, had played it before?
I played it, yes, but it's been so long that I did not recognize the song anymore. So I'm just like, what is this? Why is this not jogging my memory at all? And I played that game on like a really shitty PC that I had way back in the day.
Yeah.
I still did not recognize that theme song.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, welcome our new challenger, Young Yeah.
I'm fucked. I'm telling you, I'm horrible at this.
All right, so am I able to see the ones that you gave him too, or?
I just sent another link in the Skype chat.
Okay.
You can head back into the chat now, Ronan. You are clear.
Sanctuary at last.
5 for 5, man. I like it. That's a good job. It was a good job, man.
Thank you.
Oh, need permission.
I gotta. These are in the same folder. That's weird. Share.
How'd you guess Tetris, or not guess? How'd you get Tetris? Like, how do you like jam out to Tetris's theme song while you're playing Tetris? I don't even know what that sounds like.
I will say this much: if people that come to my streams, they know that at the beginning of my streams, I have like a little waiting room screen up there, and every time I do, I just play classic music, classic video game music all the time.
Okay.
So,
gotcha.
In some ways, I should probably feel bad if I mess that up.
Yeah. I hope mine is just...
How did you know it? You asked him how he knows it. How did you know it?
Me?
Yeah.
I had no freaking idea it was Tetris. I was like, what is this?
Oh, I thought you said, oh, like after, like you knew what it was.
No,
okay.
I listened to it. I was like, I don't know what this is.
All right. Did you get your invite? It's funny because I was gonna put Mega Man in here for yours, but it was so like not good quality that I didn't put it in.
If you did all Metal Gear songs, I could tell you exactly which game.
Just like that.
I know. And I was tempted to put one in there, but I was like, he will get this, no problem. I got to give you guys some challenge. You got some classic ones in here, too. I sent you an invite to the folder now. Can you see it?
I'm refreshing, and it's still...
I got mine open on this side. It worked for me.
There we go.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So, we're all queued up. I've got other music playing in the background. Let me mute that. All right, you ready, Young?
No, not at all.
All right, we'll play soundtrack number 1. Go ahead.
Here we go. Oh, Fallout. Come on, that was easy. All right.
It was start off easy. Of course.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
They killed it. Or did you skip to the middle? All right, number 2, starting it up. All right, go ahead.
This is so familiar. Like, I've heard this.
Look at Ronan. You know what it is, Ronan?
Is it Kirby? No, it's... God, I know I've heard the soundtrack.
You can skip around. You're free to skip around in the song.
Shovel Knight? No. God damn it! I've heard the soundtrack. I don't know where.
I know you. I know you've played it.
I know this.
Since you're new, I will give you one hint. You are blue in the game.
Mega Man?
No, it is Sonic.
Oh yeah, duh. I knew it was like one of those.
Yeah.
Like, side-scrolling. I don't know.
Like
anyway.
Sonic 1, the very first level.
Yeah, you're right. Duh.
It's Green Hills.
God,
that was kind of a given to me because I play Sonic all the fucking time on my stream, so it's like.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Number
Unfair
3.
advantages.
It sounds a lot like Shovel Knight, though. Not gonna lie. Anyway,
yeah, no, I hear you on that. I hear you.
Number 3.
Give it some time. Yeah, this is definitely
I've heard this one too. I just don't know where.
This is definitely one you'll want to like skip into the middle and listen to.
Final Fantasy? Oh god, I'm so bad at this. I know I've heard this track.
Yeah, we talked about it in the episode of the show today. Okay. You know what, Ronan?
Okay, we talked about it tonight, you said?
Yes.
So we talked about Division, we talked about Doom, we talked about Halo?
It is Halo.
Halo.
There you go.
Yeah,
there
yeah,
you
it
go.
is
All
Halo.
right, there you
Yeah.
It is Halo. All right. Okay,
Yeah,
so that's
no,
two
of course
codes.
it's Halo.
Two codes coming to you from courtesy of Yong. And soundtrack number 4.
Fans are so pissed at me right now. Where are my codes, Yong? You're fucking this up.
I hate your guts. I thought I was getting codes.
You should be able to get this one too. This one's pretty easy.
Oh, this one.
Also sounds very familiar.
Interviewed the voice actor for this, I believe, right? Yes.
Silent Hill?
It is Silent Hill.
Yes! Ah! Alright.
Right.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Killed
I was
it.
like-
All right.
Okay. Damn.
And moving on to our last soundtrack.
Okay. Oh. Is it like the easiest for last? This is Final Fantasy.
I wanted this one to be first.
Final Fantasy VII.
It is Final Fantasy VII. It even nailed the game number.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so
That didn't go as bad. Okay.
That was great. What are you talking about? You did fine.
yeah,
You
you,
did fine.
Took
I
me some
mean,
time, but
you missed what, one?
yeah, which one was it? Oh, was it the Mega Man? Yeah, the Sonic one. That's one that I missed.
Sonic. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's not something you play every day.
No,
so I mean,
I do
that's
not.
pretty good. You got
Okay.
Silent Hill.
All right.
Right.
You got, you've got the harder ones. And to be fair, that particular Sonic one isn't from the main menu music, which most of these are main menu musics.
Oh.
And that was the first level of the game that you get
Yeah.
into.
That's the Green Hills, man.
Yeah.
Gotta love some Green Hills. So
the Final Fantasy VII one is the what is it? The Midgar theme, isn't it? Or
Think
is
so.
it the? It was in one of the towns, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to
think
think
it
which
was
one it
Midgar.
was.
I don't know.
It might have been Midgar.
Chat,
I'll have to
let us
reference check
know.
on that one. Yeah,
Enlighten
just
us.
throw us in the chat,
Yeah.
or you can yell at us so we don't know anything about video games. Apparently.
Well, you guys nailed it, man. I think the people love this game, it looks like. And they like to participate, too, which is cool. I love how the chat tries to guess, too. I've got to, ignore them to an extent because I don't want to be like, yeah, that's it, and then say what it is.
I know. I was like, I'm
on
trying to
accident.
type in the chat on the side, like, yeah, I know what this is. Like, no.
So I think we'll do this game every time we don't have a voice actor. That way, we've got something kind of fun in the episode. Not to say that we're not fun, but some of our coverage on games can be very disheartening and kind of harsh.
Yeah.
So having something like this to kind of end on is always fun. And like I said, you did good for your first one. And Ronan, you 5 for 5 this time, man. Killed it.
Which is surprising because I feel like I don't know shit about video games at all. Contrary to popular belief.
Even though you've played just about every one released.
I mean, hey, look, you sit down, you give me a controller, I'll play a game. Whatever you
Right.
throw at me, I'll play the bad ones. I'll play Hello Kitty if I got it. But either way it goes.
So I can give you Kitten Rampage, right?
No,
Just I
I gotta draw a line somewhere. There's got to be a line that you can't cross.
I pawned that one off on our boy James. I got a Young, so you're aware. I got a review code. As I do these game reviews for a game called Kitten Rampage, in which you are a cat and you shoot laser beams out of your eyes. And the goal is you run around a house and laser beam out of your eyes everything in the house and blow it up.
So it's like Goat Simulator, but with a cat. Kind of. Like you just, there's just no point to the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's no point. You're killing secret agents. There's a bunch of secret agents all around the house, and you have to kill them with your laser.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't want to
10
play
out
it.
of 10.
I was like, who we have a Steam group for our media channel. I'm like, who's playing this game? Because it's not me. Like, I got the code, but you guys are playing it. So that's always a thing, getting those weird random games like that. But anyways, that brings this episode of the Codec to a close. I think it was kind of good for us to get back in here and we haven't had a chat about the gaming industry in a little bit. So it's good to kind of talk about all that stuff.
Oh,
next
one
week,
more topic. What do you think? What do you think will happen at the Hideo Kojima award ceremony thing with and with the keynote with Mark Cerny? What do you think it's gonna happen?
I'm more interested on what you think's gonna happen.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
That's I wouldn't expect anything major. I think it's just it's going to be a lot like the Guillermo del Toro Kojima conversation. It's just going to be like a discussion, and we might get like a little hint, like, oh, this game we're aiming to, you know, make it widely appealing, like just vague shit like that. That's just like, oh, thanks.
Gotcha.
No, but yeah, probably. I'm not expecting too much.
Where is this presented?
I'm sorry.
Where is it presented? Like, what's the? Is it an event?
Yeah, it's an event called Develop something 2016. The company is called Develop, and then the city is like Blood Develop something 2016 gaming. Hold on, let me look it up.
Yeah, because I heard that, you know, they're issuing Kojima that award, the what's it called, the
Industry Legend Award.
Yeah, which I've never heard of.
Me neither. Oh, Develop Brighton Conference.
Okay.
Okay. Is it the first one that they've ever given out?
No.
Okay.
Mark Cerny actually was a recipient of this award in 2004. Yeah. So this is something that they've done for quite a while. And but yeah, I don't think anything like major news have come out of this event. So I wouldn't expect too much. Just like a nice discussion.
Still cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're live streaming it. So who knows? But I think mostly we'll just get like a discussion between two friends, and but you know, we are talking about it is Kojima and Mark Cerny, the PlayStation and Kojima Productions guys, who are you know, working on this game together. So maybe we'll get like one small update, but
yeah, something like that. As far as, you know, you asked my opinion, I think he definitely deserves it. I know there's a lot of people out there that are Kojima lovers or Kojima haters. I'm really kind of a neutral kind of person. Like, he did bring a lot to the Metal Gear franchise. He really redefined and kind of invented a genre himself. Like, that kind of stuff I definitely agree with, and I think he definitely deserves to be awarded for that. On the flip side, I think projects and things like that, once they become as big as like Metal Gear, they're bigger than just one person, and I think it can definitely carry on and live on. You know, but I'm excited to see like his next new project. But I'm also still and will always be a Metal Gear fan, even you know, if he's not at the helm. I'll always have some love. I haven't found a Metal Gear game that I hate. You know what I mean? So I don't see why I would anytime in the future, because there's been projects that he hasn't worked on that I still liked. So.
Portable Ops was meh, but Kojima didn't really work on that one. He was like,
so I didn't hate it.
But yeah, I didn't hate it either. The story was actually, I liked the story for Portable Ops. Actually, I didn't like the gameplay. It was drab and boring and just like,
it was that PSP just kind of didn't have.
But Peace Walker was PSP, and it was actually like pretty fun.
Just at the time, it just wasn't done. Like, it wasn't there. I think it was pretty early in the PSP's life cycle, correct?
Yeah.
Was it?
It was somewhere around those.
I think maybe halfway.
Yeah, about halfway. It seems more along the lines of halfway.
Yeah.
As where Peace Walker was towards the end, where they really had time to kind of develop the technology and stuff like that. And then, you know, I think, you know, moving forward with the PlayStation stuff, the unlimited resources, really. I mean, people can speculate budgets and, you know, his size of his studio and whatnot, but when you are partnered with PlayStation, you might say, okay, well, this is what my studio is going to work on. You guys do all the assets, which is a huge part of the game, you know, creation time. So I think, you know, moving forward, he's got all the resources that he needs to make his next game. And if he's been wanting to get out of Metal Gear, like he's you know, said for so long, this is his chance to kind of show us what he can do. So
and anytime like PlayStation steps in to help out a developer, whether it be a second party like Naughty Dog or whatever, I mean, you can expect tremendous results.
Absolutely.
The technology is so great, and then they have so many talented and passionate people there at Sony that I mean, this game is kind of already guaranteed to be good, in my opinion.
Right.
But
I mean, with things like PlayStation Play Remote Play, how can you not make the best game?
Sure.
Ronan, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking, here's the thing. Now, this is purely speculation on my part, right? The whole event happens. You know, they lower a projector screen, it's just darkness, and they show a picture, like a 3D model of a knight, right?
It's awfully detailed for a guess.
And then they pan into close to the knight's face, and he lifts up the face part of his helmet, and it's Crash Bandicoot. Boom, done. That's the new game, guys. Confirmed.
Kojima's taken over Crash Bandicoot.
That's right.
And it turns out you're not playing as Crash Bandicoot, but as a Crash Bandicoot double. Punish Phantom Crash.
And when he opens the visor, he says, "Kept you waiting, huh?"
Yep.
Yeah.
Which would be totally legit because there are people that are seriously waiting for a new Crash. Which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But I don't know. It depends on what they can talk about. Like the fact that you have Mark Cerny there, who was also the architect on the PlayStation 4, by the way. Right. So to have that guy at your side when it comes to developing your games, there's a lot of great things that can come out of that. Yeah. But I'm sure we won't get anything like legitimate. I love how the chat's reacting to that.
Yeah, Kirk says I have to ban you. I'm sorry.
So yeah, I mean, I don't see anything like too big coming out of this like Young, so we might get a hint or something at the very least, or perhaps at the most, if anything. But yeah, it might be just be another talk like the Del Toro thing was between friends, and maybe some plans they have at the most. But I'm happy to see him, obtaining this event, getting this award and stuff like that, because I think it's great. But just don't expect any like groundbreaking announcements because most of that stuff usually happens at E3. So wait until then if you want to see that stuff.
Coming soon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Couple months, 2 months.
And what? 3 months? Yeah, 2 months.
Yeah, about 2 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if they release any kind of news about a Crash game, it's all hater driven because they're jealous about this new Banjo-Kazooie.
I'm just saying, when the guy came out there at the PlayStation Experience event back in, what was it, December, November, and he was wearing the Crash Bandicoot t-shirt, that is one way to piss people off about you not releasing a new Crash game. So I don't know. I thought that was hilarious, but I'm sure a lot of people were pissed off when that happened.
Yeah.
Well, it happens. Hopefully we'll have a lot of good info here coming up in the E3 event, and then we'll have some other fun things to talk about when we talk to Mark Meer next week, because there's been a lot of good BioWare and Mass Effect leaks and news and stuff to kind of talk about, but we'll save that for then. As far as this episode, that's the end, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Had a great time talking to you guys about a couple of these games that are out and coming out and plans for their DLCs and season passes and episodic nature of things. Those are always fun topics to talk about. So, Ronan, it's time to say goodbye.
Yep. Well, thanks for having me, guys. I always appreciate being here. It's a pleasure to do this show every week with you guys and talk to the voice actors and actresses. It's a good time. And the song game, no matter how many times I say I'm going to fail at it. Hopefully, third time's a charm. Next time we do this, we'll see how this goes. Unless Daily absolutely hates me, and then suddenly I just screw up the whole thing. So just torches and pitchforks. I get it. Don't worry.
I'm gonna make them all generic first-person shooters that you've never played.
There's a lot. So I'll probably fail that for sure. If you're aiming for that. But as always, guys, thanks for the support. Thanks for the turnout that we had for the viewership as well. We definitely appreciate that, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. And thank you to my awesome co-hosts here, Young and Daly, for being here. Much appreciated. And see you guys next time. You have a wonderful day or night, depending on where you are in the world. You all stay classy, stay sharp. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And I'll see you next time.
All right, guys. And for me, definitely give Corrupt Ronan a follow on his channel, hitbox.tv/CorruptRonan. Follow him on Twitter. It's @CorruptRonan. Follow us on Twitter @the Codec and @YongYea, where you guys can kind of stay up on what we're doing. I do a lot of like announcements and things through Twitter, a lot more than I normally do. So if you want to know what's going on with the Codec, who's coming on for shows, what co-hosts we got for that week, check us out on Twitter. It's @the_, you gotta have the underscore, Codec, and then @CorruptRonan and @YongYea. They tweet all the projects and live streams that they do, so make sure you guys check up on them. Give us a follow on the channel here. The blue button looks like a Twitter thing, doesn't it? It looks like a Twitter.
It's something like that.
Kind of, I don't know. I never have it up when I tell you guys what to click. It's the blue thing. Again, Ronan tried to trick me and tell me it was green last time because I'm colorblind. But I checked with Hitbox staff and they said it's blue. Okay.
You had to go to the Hitbox staff for that. That's crazy. That's crazy.
So colorblind, it's ridiculous.
I've seen a lot of situations like that.
It could have been an aqua green.
It could have been. It could have been.
I never know. We never know. I never know. In any case, tune in next week for Mark Meir and Brandon Keener. Hopefully, I haven't heard from Brandon. I talked to his wife. She said he's coming, but I haven't spoken to him directly. I'm taking his wife's word for it. Usually, if the wife says you're going somewhere, you're going somewhere. So there's that. I've confirmed Mark to be there. So regardless, we'll have Shepard in the house, and we'll have our crew from the Mass Effect Odyssey come on and ask a question or two at the end of the show to Mark and hopefully Brandon if he can make it, because I know he is Rima's favorite character ever. So nothing like a fangirl. In any case, that's it for me. Young?
Yeah, well, thank you for tuning in, folks. Again, it was a great episode. A lot of interesting topics. Musical game went okay. Wasn't a complete train wreck.
You like it?
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah,
hopefully
fun.
the audience liked it too. But yeah, I look forward to more content on my channel. Look forward to more content from us at the Codec. Lots of very interesting guests coming up, so stay tuned. And with that, I will see you guys next time. Yong out!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you on the next episode of the Codec.